Officials in Winnebago County say when voters feel secure that their vote is counted accurately and without interference, they are more likely to believe in the legitimacy of election results. To help reassure state line residents and answer any questions ahead of November, a special presentation was hosted Wednesday about the integrity of the county's election systems. Speakers included Winnebago County Clerk Lori Gummo and Ryan Bronze, representing the Rockford Board of Elections. The League of Women Voters of Greater Rockford was one of the organizations that sponsored tonight's event. Its leaders say opportunities like this are valuable.
I think it's really important that we hold events like this so that individual voters have the opportunity to ask these questions directly from the actual people who are handling our elections and our ballots.